Hello everyone, welcome back to Create with Chidex. I'm Chidima and today's video is about a fusion between two personal favorites of mine, ice cream and cake. I know you must have heard the saying that money cannot buy happiness. Well, I completely disagree. Whoever said that mustn't have had the opportunity of buying and licking an ice cream. Yeah, I know. What can I say? Ice creams make me happy. Well, in this video I'll be showing you how I made a gravity defying cake that looks like an ice cream. So if you'd like to know how I made this cake, keep watching the video to the end and I hope you enjoy the video. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me to build my channel and you get notified whenever I post new videos. So I'll just get on right to the cake. To start, I've got two cakes and some circular cake supports cut out of cardboard and covered in foil with holes in the middle of each one. So the sizes are 3.5 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches and 2.5 inches. First of all, I'll level my first cake. Then I'll cut it in the middle, cut it into two. Next, using the templates as a guide, I'm going to start cutting out circles from my cake. The sizes of the cake supports graduate from small to big, so I'm going to cut the cake circles similar to this. In total, I need circles that when stacked up will make up a height of between 9 to 9.5 inches. So I'm going to continue cutting until I get enough circles to make up this height. Similar to the first cake, I've cut this one into two, leveled it, and then I'll continue cutting out cake circles from it. In total, I cut out 6 circles, although eventually I used only 5 of them. Next, using a paring knife, I cut out holes at the center of each of them. After cutting out the holes from the center of each of the cake circles, I'm going to stack them up on my cake support stand, which I already prepared using a threaded rod and some wood at the base. I have covered the wood at the base using some fondant and also covered the threaded rod with some foil paper and some cling film to make it food safe. I'll start by applying some buttercream to the bottom of the smallest cake circle and then I'll pass it through the rod. I'm going to continue stacking the rest of the cakes, putting some buttercream first, some bubble straws for support, and then the cake cardboards which we prepared earlier. I forgot to put the bubble straws in this first layer, so I'm just lifting the cake cardboard to do this. So I'm just inserting the first bubble straw, marking it at the height of the cake layer. Then I'll take it out, use a scissors to cut it, and then put it back inside the cake. I'm just adding some more bubble straws. After inserting the bubble straws, I'll push the cake cardboard back on top of them. I'm going to continue stacking the rest of the cakes. So I'm going to put down some buttercream first, then the next cake layer, some buttercream again, then some bubble straws for support before putting the cake cardboard circle and then another cake layer. I'll follow this process until I've finished stacking up all the cakes. After stacking the cakes, I'm going to crumb coat the whole cake and then put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes before I carve it. After my cake had been in the fridge for about 20 minutes, I took it out of the fridge and started carving it. So I'm going to carve it to the shape of an ice cream cone. But first I'm putting down some foil paper to collect the cake which I will be carving out. I'm going to save these cake scraps because I'll be needing them for the cake later. Notice that I'm taking my time with this and carving just a little at a time so that I don't cut off more than I should. When I was done carving the cake, this is what it looked like. Next, I covered the cake with a layer of buttercream. When I finished coating the cake with buttercream, I put it in the fridge for 20 minutes to allow it to harden. Then I went on to prepare my modeling chocolate. So to do this, I mixed in a little brown gel food color. Here I'm adding a bit more of the brown gel color. After kneading in the brown color, I then added some of Sugar Flair's gel color in egg yellow stroke cream. To get the color of the cone right, I kept a real ice cream cone by the side and used it as my reference while coloring the modeling chocolate. Here I'm just adding and mixing in some additional yellow stroke cream color. As you can see, the color of the modeling chocolate is now pretty similar to that of the ice cream cone. So the next thing I'll be doing will be to roll out this modeling chocolate. So I've put it on top of parchment paper and I've also applied some corn flour so that it doesn't stick to my rolling pin. Meanwhile, I had previously cut out a 14-inch diameter circle out of parchment paper and folded it in about 3 inches at the bottom. So I'm going to place this template on top of the modeling chocolate and then cut around it. Next, I'll be using my rolling pin to thin out the edges of this modeling chocolate a bit. The weather was hot and it was making it difficult to handle the modeling chocolate, so I put it in the fridge for it to firm up in order to make it easier to cover the cake. When the modeling chocolate had firmed up a bit, I brought out the cake from the fridge as well and then wrapped the modeling chocolate around the cake like so. After wrapping the cake, I used the paring knife to trim the bottom. Next, using the same paring knife, I trimmed the body of the cone to make it more narrow. After carving the cake, I used the ruler to measure and mark out lines, just like you'll see in an ice cream cone. It was difficult to film the process from the angle I was working on, but after marking the lines, this is what the cone looked like. Next, I used the fondant extruder to pipe out strips which I use to fill in these marked lines. I completed the vertical lines first, and after I was done with that, I then cut out shorter strips to fill in the horizontal ones. I've now finished filling the vertical lines and I've moved on to the horizontal ones. Like I said before, I'm just cutting out shorter strips and filling in the marked lines. This is what the cone looked like after filling in all the lines. Remember the cake scraps that I saved from carving the cake earlier on? That's what I'm going to use to make the ice cream scoop. So I'm mixing in some buttercream and then molding it into a ball. I needed my scoop to be bigger, so I'm crumbling and mixing in some more cake. When I was satisfied with the size of the scoop, I put it on parchment paper and put it in the fridge for 1 hour to firm up. I brought out the cake scoop from the fridge after 1 hour, then I melted some chocolate, allowed it to cool slightly before using it to coat the scoop. When I had finished coating the scoop, I put it back in the fridge for the chocolate to firm up before I continue with the next step. While waiting for the chocolate to firm up, I started preparing my fondant. So I colored this fondant using the Sugar Flare Edible Gel Color in Egg Yellow Stroke Cream, and then I started rolling it out. So I'm using fondant here because it has better stretch than modeling chocolate, and I needed to be able to roll it out very thin. Before covering my cake scoop with the rolled out fondant, I rubbed some buttercream on my 4 inches diameter cake board, which I cut from cardboard and covered in foil paper. So after rubbing the buttercream, I placed the cake scoop on the board and then went on to cover it with the fondant. Here I'm cutting off the excess fondant first with my X-Acto blade and then next with my fingers. When I was done, I inserted my paring knife through the hole at the center of the cake board and dug out a hole in the cake like so. Before placing the cake scoop on top of the cone part of the cake, I inserted some bubble straws for support. Then I poured some melted chocolate on the threaded rod and placed the cake scoop on top of the cake. To make the sprinkles, I used my fondant extruder to pipe out fondant stripes of different colors and then chop them up into smaller stripes and set them aside. For the ice cream itself, using a spatula, I applied some buttercream to the cake scoop like so. Here I had to put down some foil paper to protect my cake board from the buttercream. Finally, I put the sprinkles all over the buttercream which I spread. And there you have it. Our gravity defying ice cream cake is done. We've now come to the end of this video. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!